Airways flight faces possible federal charges.
Literally picked this man up underneath his armpits and put him down like he was in a car seat. It was amazing.
The plane diverted to Colorado, where David Leroy Carter was arrested after shouting racial slurs and waving a skateboard. No one was seriously injured. Kanye West is back selling products on his Yeezy website after months of inactivity from a Shopify suspension. The new collection in white, black, and gray includes hoodies, underwear, and footwear like sliders, slippers, and trainers. The American Black Film Festival is bringing a pop-up tour to Atlanta November 8th and 9th featuring award-winning films, panels, and celebrity conversations. Typically in Miami Beach, the festival is expanding ahead of its 30th anniversary before heading to Dallas, Texas. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Good morning.
Wake up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK.
WBOK 1230 AM. The talk line 504-582-9422. 504-582-9422. For those of you all who are on Facebook, you might see that Dr. Shonda Wyatt is not here. But don't worry. She's taking care of other business, and she's going to be calling in. But guess who I have today?
I'm back.
Pastor Torrey Sanders is here once again.
Oh, I get a bell ring. Okay, that's right. That's right. I remember that.
He's going to be keeping me and keeping you company this morning on the Good Morning Show. And, of course, there's lots to talk about, lots coming up. There was another dynamic forum last night. And we got more to go, and all kinds of things are popping off. And on today's show, we got our favorite weatherman, meteorologist, Damon Singleton. He's going to be calling in the 7 o'clock hour. Some of you all may have heard about that storm out there, Aaron. And so there's been information bouncing around about is it going to hit us, not going to hit us, is it going to go to the east, it's going to be petering out. All right, so let's talk to somebody who really knows
what's
going
on with
this weather
That's
stuff, and hear from our guy Damon Singleton, my frat brother.
Don't start nothing now. Don't start nothing. Won't be nothing. All right.
And in the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to hear from our friend Kevin Ferguson from New Orleans and Company. Of course, New Orleans and Company always is on top of the tourism and hospitality goings on in New Orleans, and we're going to hear more about what we have had recently and what's coming up in New Orleans. We're going to talk with him a bit about the culinary museum month is ongoing, and a wonderful thing to take advantage of for those of you all who haven't been to a museum in a while, and the new Amtrak Mardi Gras service, which starts this weekend and officially on Monday, I believe. And that's really exciting because Amtrak has run in and out of New Orleans, and some lines have been stopped. And so this Mardi Gras route over to Mobile is back online. And we're going to hear from Kevin talking about that. And also about the Carnival Cruise Line and what's going on with them. And he's going to tell us about the National Geographic Traveler Food Festival. So that's another thing that we'll be taking a look at, because the National Geographic is very well known for their photography, their superior quality of journalism and production, and covering the world. We often associate them with food. I'm sorry, with
right.
with animals.
Animals, that's right.
And while but National Geographic in more recent years has expanded to other subject matter, and that includes food. And so, how can National Geographic
That's right.
look at food and not include New
New
Orleans?
Orleans, that's right.
And then, of course, we got Mayor's K20 Summit coming up, and New Orleans and Company is part of that. So this is the 20th anniversary of Katrina, and there's a lot of stuff going on that Kevin will bring us up to speed on. And in the also in the 8 o'clock hour, we'll have Angel Thibodeau Burns, Dr. Burns, Chief Community Development Officer at Home Bank, and she's going to talk about Money Matters and getting us in line with our financial goings on to make sure that we know about a portal that is free to all members of the community. And you know, Dr. White isn't here today, but she is alive and well, taking care of some other business. And so she will be calling in. Don't forget, for those of you all who are regular listeners, she's kind of teased us before and definitely teased us yesterday and said tomorrow she'll have a big announcement, a surprise announcement. Well, today is the day.
All right.
So,
All right.
if you've been waiting to hear about the announcement, I guess you're going to have to stick and say because I think it might be in the 8 o'clock hour, but you don't know. It's Dr. Wyatt. So I think you better stay tuned and listen in because it might come at any moment, and
That's
you're going to want to hear what Dr. has to say, Dr. Wyatt has to say. So what do you think about the big announcement?
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm sure it'll be whatever it is. It's a blessing for her and for the community. So we look forward to hearing that.
Yeah. Quite a show, huh?
Oh yeah, it's packed on for Friday. That's right.
Yeah,
for Friday. What you doing this weekend?
Well, you know, my wife and I have been together 45 years.
Well,
okay.
Is it anniversary time? Or
Well,
what?
no,
Okay. All right.
no.
Okay.
But what you know, as you know,
Mhm.
in committed, long-lasting relationships, there's you know, sometimes people call it give and take. I like to say, what do I need to give?
Yes, that's right. Every now and then.
And so this weekend, I am going to get out. We are going to get out. We're going to take in some of the forum stuff probably.
Okay.
But my priority is going to be home upkeep.
There you go. I am familiar with that
My
process.
priority is going to be home upkeep.
That's right.
You know, I've had a couple of questions in the last week or so since returning from Cleveland. It's like, did you see this? Yeah, I saw that.
That's
okay.
right.
And when's the last time?
Yeah.
Okay. All
That's right.
So with some questions and some pointing of
That's
fingers at some particular spots, I get that. I get the idea.
Now you might want to use one of my time-tested tactics, and
What's that?
Give her a few dollars to go shopping.
You're right.
And then I bring in some professionals to do everything, and then by the time she gets back home, I'm like, look at what I did, So no. I cut the grass. I did the plumbing.
Look at all that's been done.
Look at all that's been done. But I'm not a very handy man around the house, so But anyway.
Yeah.
So
I did take in some of the forum last night. I was there on the previous night, and last night we had additional candidate forum segments. And it was very well done because they basically you got your opening, you got your 3 questions for everybody.
Yes.
Everybody answers the same question.
This
You
was
put your closing-
IWO, Independent Women's Organization.
Yeah. And so that was over at George's Auditorium at Dillard University. For those of you who have not participated or watched any of these, I strongly encourage you to look in on IWO's Facebook page because these were recorded on Facebook Live. And last night we have mayoral candidates and assessor candidates and District E Council candidates as well. And keep in mind that as you look at some of these forums, especially IWO and then ODEC, which has forums tonight and then tomorrow morning, some of the organizations are definitely partisan, so you wouldn't go to an IWO forum and expect to see an independent or no party or Republican candidate because it is a Democratic women's organization. And the same is true with ODEC, of course.
Yes.
Because very much a part of the state Democratic Party apparatus and structure, part of how they get things done, in particular in Orleans Parish. So don't expect to see why wasn't everybody invited. Well, if you have an organization and you're setting up a forum, you kind of establish who can get invited.
That's right.
So, in their house, that's who can come.
That's right. Yeah. Now, a few weeks ago, Step Up Louisiana, I know, held several forums. I participated in two of them, the mayoral one and the sheriff's debate and a forum. They were really good. And I know in a week or so, the Urban League is going to host another series of forums. So you can probably go to the Urban League's webpage, and they're on social media also. They're going to host forums throughout early September. So it's good. You can't say that there's not an opportunity to get to know the candidates. It just takes a little bit of effort to get on out there and communicate and listen. And, you can ask questions usually through cards. You can pose a question or what have you, but they're intimate environments, so to speak, so you can really hear what people have to say. So,
and another thing about it is, there's usually a moderator, facilitator who's asking the questions. Some of the forums take questions from the audience, or maybe it's not you asking on a microphone, but you write your question down and hand it out to it. But in most of these cases, candidates are trying to get to as many places as they can.
That's right.
But almost always they arrive before the start time. And sometimes they have to leave during the program. But those who are there at the end will take time to talk with you if you have a question or a comment, or you say why you like them, or can you follow up on this?
Right.
And, hey, they put themselves out there to serve. And these are some of your opportunities to ask them, tell them what's on your mind.
Yeah, and I think, I love the democratic process. I believe, maybe too much to say everybody should run for office, but more and more people should really consider running for office and just engaging in the process in that way, because you learn a lot while also you're giving of yourself and everything, and you have a better appreciation of what it takes to be a leader on that side and everything when you go through the process yourself. But you mentioned Katrina, again, the 20th commemoration, so to speak, coming up, and so there is the Katrina 20 events that's coming on. I know there's going to be a march, what have you. A few years ago, back in 2018, Margaret Montgomery Richard and Dr. Kaze Konate, they edited a book that I have a chapter in. I encourage people to go and get. I wrote a chapter in that book. It's called Call to Sankofa, and I recounted my experiences on the school board during and after Katrina, and there are other chapters in there about people who were at Delgado and Dillard and other places in terms of how the educational institutions in our city were impacted. And so just want to recommend that book again. It came out actually in 2018 or so. It was on Amazon and other platforms, but it's called Call to Sankofa. And that word Sankofa,
spell for the people who don't know.
That's right. Called the Sankofa, Sankofa. But I believe it's a Swahili word, but it means going to go back and fetch. And so basically it's about looking back at our history and to see what it can teach us for the future and guide us in terms of the future. And so it's all called to Sankofa. So I just want to offer that to everyone for if you want to read some stuff. And of course, there's a lot of books that have been written about Katrina. and now documentaries that are all over the place about Katrina. So I know my sons, I guess, one was 5 and the other one was 10, and they've been watching them, and they said, wow, now kind of, it more makes sense. So a lot of the people, our kids who were children at that time and are now adults, I encourage you, if you're listening, to go back and check out those documentaries or read some of those books, because then it can add an element to in terms of understanding maybe what your life was like when you were a young person, 10, 12, 15, and you were in a recovering city. You have a unique experience being a child in a city that had suffered a major disaster. And so it hurt in some ways, and it gave you other opportunities in some ways. But so that may be a really good thing to do to kind of help, clarify some of your questions. Well, why were things like this when I was a kid?
Absolutely.
Why were things like that? And you'll understand discussion in the issues and in your own life probably a little bit better. Because I know that's what my 2 20-year-old-ish sons have told me, that it helped them to have a better understanding of their own lives and what happened during that time.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point because, we have kids now who are teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
So they're at a different place in their growth and maturity.
Yes.
And they've been hearing Katrina all their lives, but they weren't even born.
That's right.
They weren't even born.
Mm-hmm.
So they're hearing these stories and they're hearing what their family went through.
Mm-hmm.
They're hearing why their neighborhoods changed.
That's right.
Why cousin so-and-so now lives in Houston or Little Rock, and they always had been in New Orleans or Jefferson Parish.
Right.
And so it's a good opportunity for them to get another couple of layers of information about their family history and about this important New Orleans history. And for those who were high schoolers at the time, what a year.
Oh, boy.
For somebody to be a rising senior.
That's right.
And have your school destroyed or your school closed or there's uncertainty about when it's open, but it looks like it's going to open, and be unsure about whether you can return to your school, to graduate from your school. So a number of our young folks who are older now, in that 20ish range,
That's right.
They didn't graduate from their school. They graduated, but they didn't graduate
from their school.
From their school.
That's right.
Because of the storm.
You're right. And like I said, those schools that never returned, so to speak, like Fort Shea, and everything. And so, and they were a proud alumni group, a very active alumni group, but, in other schools that don't exist anymore. So, definitely take this time as opportunity to revisit or to visit and learn more and everything. So, I guess, I know I take a break soon, but I read news this morning about, we talked about that big ugly bill. I refuse to call it beautiful. And but
we got to talk about that.
There was a lot of money for New Orleans East that according to the newspaper, is now not going to be received because of what happened with the passing of that bill. But we'll talk about that, I'm sure.
Yep. So we're gonna definitely have to talk about that. I just want to shout out Dolores Montgomery, Martin Curley, Harcourt Lucius, Makia Durham, Andrew Harris, Jacqueline Wilmore. Thank y'all for listening and tuning in on Facebook. And thank you to the folks who are listening on AM or the internet as well. We appreciate your tuning in to the Good Morning Show on WBOK 1230 AM. This is WBOK 1230 AM, the station that everybody's talking about
all day long.
All day long.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat, brought to you by Lowe's.com. Alexio Gibson wants to transform your life with CMOS. His company, Transformation Factory, sells CMOS-based gels and gummies in a variety of flavors. Gibson's product finds a way to supercharge just 2 tablespoons worth of CMOS gel with a ton of vital nutrients. He spoke to Bloomberg about how this product and the idea of embracing a healthier lifestyle is personal to him.
I used to be over 540 pounds, and I've lost over 200 pounds. And with us, you're not just buying the product, you're buying into a community where we're there to help you, guide you, and we're going to expand on that. You know, having workouts and meal preps and all these different things to help people transform into the best versions of themselves.
Alexiou Gibson is an inspiration both as a Black founder and as an important advocate for healthy habits. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside a full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Lowe's knows tough jobs call for tougher tools. The new DeWalt Elite Series power tool accessories are built to last for the pro who doesn't stop. With precision fitment, durability, and impact resistance, finishing jobs faster has never been easier. Shop the new DeWalt Elite Series at an everyday low price exclusively at Lowe's. Be helped, you save.
Attention, WBOK listeners. Are you a fan of the station and want to show your support and style? Well, we've got some exciting news for you. Introducing the official WBOK merchandise, the perfect way to wear your love for the station. Whether you're a longtime listener or a new fan, we've got something for everyone. Head to WBOK1230.com now and grab your WBOK gear before it's gone. When you buy WBOK merch, you're not just getting quality items, you're supporting the station you love.
Tired of the impersonal one-size-fits-all style of banking? You deserve a bank that delivers exceptional service and personalized attention to your needs. That's the Home Bank Standard. Since 1908, Home Bank has been a trusted financial partner for businesses and families because we go the extra mile to help you reach your goals. See for yourself why Home Bank is good for business, good for life. Stop by any New Orleans area location or find out more at home24bank.com. Home Bank, member FDIC.
Hello, I'm Gary Clark. Please tune in to Dr. Clark 101 Living Classroom, which is broadcasted weekly every Wednesday at 12:30 p.m. on WBOK 12:30 a.m. on your dial. And as always, it's been a pleasure.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation is the nonprofit organization that owns the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival, presented by Shell. With the funds generated from Jazz Fest, the foundation invests in Louisiana communities through economic development, cultural enrichment, and free educational programs. To learn more about the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation, please visit us at www.jazzandheritage.org.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM.
Good morning, wake up.
The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans, and I am not Dr. Clark. I am Will Sutton. I'm TimesPicayune.com columnist in the Day Job, and Dr. Wyatt is taking care of some other business, so don't worry. She is doing well. That was a wonderful visit with her womb child yesterday with Cam. It was wonderful to have that young man.
Oh, okay, he was on the radio yesterday.
It just does my heart so. It doesn't have to be my kid.
That's right.
My heart beats with pride when I see a young man or a young lady who's doing good things.
Yes.
You can see that so much is ahead of them, doing well in school, doing well in athletics, well-rounded. And they think they're well-rounded, but you can see that with just a little bit more time as they head toward 21 and 25 and 30, what a wonderful human being they're going to be. And that young man is going down that path.
She's done a good job. She's done a good job.
really great.
Yeah.
Really great.
But I
So
know
let's talk about New Orleans.
Yeah,
Oh,
well, I wanted to talk about that, but I didn't want us to forget, and I had to, I got a few pet peeves every now and then.
Yeah,
And this is more than a peeve, but we've heard about the National Guard in Washington D.C.
Yeah.
And I saw some video that was just truly. It's one thing to hear about it, but it was truly disturbing. My alma mater at Howard University, and there was video posted of all of these federal troops on Georgia Avenue in front of Howard University doing quote unquote random, stops and checks.
Yeah, for those of you all who haven't been to Mecca,
Yeah, I mean,
Howard, Georgia Avenue is like right up in there,
right there.
alongside
You got to get
University.
to Georgia Avenue to get there, and it was like, okay, and just ask, what they call it, us a check stop,
check
or whatever, a checkpoint, and it just did something to my soul to see that. It's like, so that's where the first stop is, to go to the and what if something goes wrong? What if somebody is offended?
Right.
So, thankfully I didn't hear anything, going bad. But then they also were in Southeast Louisiana, which is also a heavily black area. And they were like 7-8 cars deep, as though, it was Fallujah, and everything. And it just disturbed me. And the fact that he's forecasting that this is coming to another city filled with black folks, whether it's Chicago or New York or whatever, we are people are not going to stand for that for very long.
Yeah.
There is no crisis, there is no emergency. If we, and the fact that January 6th and they were tearing up the Capitol and didn't think to do this then.
Right.
But now, all of a sudden,
because those were his people.
Mm-hmm. And so I just had to get, we have to really pay attention to things like this. Even federal judges are saying that they're concerned and that they're worried about, the overreaches. Now, of course, in D.C., he has a little bit, because it's the District of Columbia and it's not a quote-unquote state. It doesn't have a governor. There is some provision for like 30 days if there's an emergency.
30 days in an emergency situation.
Yeah, it still has to be an emergency. So we know there ain't no emergency there. In fact, it's crime is at a 30-year low in D.C. So, but so he has that veneer of cover, but still, it is just amazing, to me. But some people voted for this.
A lot of people voted for this. A lot of people voted for this.
Yes.
And some of us chose another candidate.
Yeah.
But that candidate didn't win. And then there's another category of people. You voted for this because you didn't vote.
That's right.
You didn't vote. You
didn't
said
vote.
Politics doesn't affect me.
That's right.
You said that has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
Well, I think you take a look at those videos and you see somebody who looks like Cousin Nunu or Aunt Bertha in those videos. You can see, why are these black people being stopped? I mean, there's no big events.
No.
I haven't seen any videos with any fight.
There's no protest going on.
Any protest. Any drinking,
there's been no request from the police department.
I mean, there hasn't even been loud music, and we love our neighborhood loud music, but I mean,
and and again, what I believe also this is he's forecasting and putting out there is that when protests do start, because as this big quote unquote beautiful bill, the impacts are really felt. And we'll talk about that in a second, but when the SNAP benefits are gone, when the the student loan stuff that he's doing is really enacted, when healthcare, people start lose their healthcare for real, and other things begin to happen, and if there are protests, he's trying to signal, you better not come to the street. You better not be out in protest. And the fact of the matter is, if you know any of our history, that's how gains were won. That the Civil Rights Act is a direct result of the street protest of John Lewis getting beat over the head, in Alabama, of the masses of people coming out and saying, we're not going for this. And so to try to threaten, and scare people out of their rights. and their right to protest, their right to redress their grievances, as it says, in so many documents. So that's, I think, the fear. And then, of course, we already have all of these camps being set up, the Alligator Alcatraz, and we have to be wary of all those things. People are already running around in masks, unidentified virtually, picking people up off the street. And so, one thing happens to one group of people, then why can't it happen to another group of people?
Absolutely.
So we have to really be watchful. So I had to get that out since I'm on the radio this morning.
Right. and we should not think that's so far away that it doesn't concern us. It's not involving us, because the man's already said, coming to a city near you.
That's right.
Now, it'll be different in some other cities, because, and don't forget, he was already in Los Angeles.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's not forget
that
right. He's already done something like this in L.A.
And even though that was an overreach, there was at least protest. So somebody could have made the argument, they're scared, and maybe and I'm not suggesting that, but there was at least more of an argument. But somebody also posted, and the data's there, that, we're talking about if the reason is crime out of control,
right?
There's 10 other predominantly white cities that have much bigger crime problems than Washington, D.C. So why didn't we start there?
Yeah.
Why is it always us first to start with something like this?
That's right. Just pull out what happened comparison.
yes. So anyway, But out of that big bill, there was supposedly slated $61 million for New Orleans East for repairs or changes to service roads to make it, better to travel, easier, more accessible, and poof, gone.
So this was $61 million federal grant that would make New Orleans East service roads safer and more accessible for pedestrians and bicyclists, and obviously when you do that, also for vehicles as well. And that was already on track, thanks to our Congressman Troy Carter. But one of the reasons that Democrats fought so hard in the losing battle with what they call the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, now law, and calling it ugly because there were so many things in it, and a lot of people focused on the Medicaid stuff, rightly so, but they could look at the nearly 1,000-page document and see some of the things that they had worked for so hard that were being affected by things that weren't included or were cut. And so in this case, this law that went into effect last month, funded under the U.S. Department of Transportation's Reconnecting Communities and Neighborhood Access and Equity programs, has been canceled.
Yes.
Not delayed.
Not delayed.
Not postponed.
Yeah.
Canceled.
That's right.
Canceled for infrastructure needs in New Orleans East in particular. And this would have helped with reducing the number of traffic crashes in the East. And, thank goodness for Representative Carter getting this through the sausage making to get it approved and awarded to the city in 2023. But this is a part of what you vote for when you vote a different way and when you don't vote, because it comes back to hit you in some
over
other
and
ways.
over and over again.
So,
over and over and over
again.
again.
So this is very real negative impact. And Joni Hess wrote about this on NOLA.com. And the project scope also included trail connections at Crowder Boulevard and Bullitt Avenue exits and pedestrian crossing signals at major service road intersections, and a piece of it, about $2 million in legally obligated funds, would cover the design phase to work with Public Works to get this, make sure that this was being designed in a way that was going to be as helpful as possible.
Yeah.
And what does the law do? The law wipes it out.
Yeah.
Wipes it out.
Yeah, and you mentioned things that are happening. There's a sense that in some polling that suggests that more and more even Republicans and white folks are saying that they don't want all of this stuff to happen, that they're not liking what's happening, and of course that can result in changes in Congress during the midterm elections, which are next year.
Mm-hmm.
And so of course Trump and his team, they're thinking way ahead, and so that's what's going on in Texas, where Trump already made the call to the governor. They're saying to find him, get him 5 more congressional seats. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if everybody's paying attention, but of course then Texas Democrats, several of them left the state, break the quorum, so that this redistricting, which is not even time for redistricting. There's supposed to be they already did that in 2021 or 2022, what have you, as we did here and all around the country. And so a mid-decade redistricting based upon no new data, but just to remove or to make more, to disenfranchise more black voters so that they don't have the opportunity to choose who they want to represent them in Congress. And again, the implication is that if these 5 more seats then become Republican controlled, then of course the Republican will have a complete domination in the House. And of course, got to think further down the line and, know your civics and your Constitution. Then if he's able to get on the ballot, some kind of crook by hook or crook, and if there's a dispute in the election, this House of Representatives has to certify the election. And so if he controls the House and they do whatever he wants them to do, then we end up, some would say, now I'm not saying this is happening, but then with a 3rd term, which is unconstitutional.
Right.
But we have someone who already says, we see, doesn't care about the law too much.
Right.
And so, but this is a move there that pretends, well, what's going on here? Why is this happening that's never happened before?
Right.
And so, again, we don't know if that's, he may not need to have that move come here, but states like California, then Governor Newsom is saying, well, hey, we're not going to let that, if they do that there, then we're going to come back. And then if we got a gerrymander to get more Democratic seats to even it out, but this is so unfortunate, and it's racist, and it goes back to all of the other attempts at voter suppression. It's just a new way, a different way to do the same old stuff. And so that's why we have to know our history, and we have to see how it operates in the present. And so, these cuts here, affecting our communities, taking away representation, over-policing us, as we see coming in D.C. and in other places. None of this stuff looks good. And so, as a community, we have to not just be mobilized, but we have to begin to organize ourselves, I believe. And different mobilize, when something bad happened and we go, oh, okay, let's come together. We meet for 2 meetings and then we go back home. But organization means that we have a strategy that is enacted beyond a crisis, and that we continue to move. So I would, implore our elected officials and others, the non-elected officials, to really, educate our community about all of these things and connect the dots that we see happening. That's what I'm trying to do here. So connect some dots.
Yeah, well, and let's connect the dot to what's happening in D.C. So the president can do this for up to 30 days. But after that, it has to be congressional approval.
I wonder if he can get congressional approval.
So if he wants to do this beyond the 30 days, he's going to have to get congressional approval. And, who's in charge of Congress right now?
That's right.
So it'd be really fascinating if he decides to take this beyond 30 days, which I think would not be smart.
Yeah.
But if he does, then it would be interesting to see if enough Republicans would say it's legitimate, it's cool, because what are they going to say when they go back to their districts, to their states, to talk about what the impact might be back home?
Yes.
Do they want to see this back home? Do they want this making the news?
That's right.
Okay. So it looks like we got a caller now. Trees.
Good morning. It's Trees.
Look. Trees. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Trees. How are you?
I am fine. I'm fine. The thing I wanted to say is just, see how you guys are talking about this in terms of how it affects us as Black people and a race.
Yep.
And that's why it's burning it's just burning everything in me to hear our elected officials and candidates that's running in New Orleans act like they're reading from a script and allowing themselves to be gaslit into making statements like it's not about race and things of that nature when everything that's going on in this country is about race. And that's why if any candidate in this city wants to actually get the vote, they need to stop walking around race, because right now they need to be standing up in what is going on in this country and telling the citizens of this Black city how they are going to protect these citizens in this Black city because of the race agenda and the things that are going on in the city. And that's not to say that the person telling us how they're going to protect us has to be Black, but they have to be able and willing to talk and discuss about how issues definitely specifically affect Black people. So I just feel like Black people, stop allowing yourselves to be gaslit into saying things like the race doesn't matter and race doesn't matter when everything that's going on in this country and around us in this state, our governor wants to take over every Black city in Louisiana. So how isn't it about race? We need to tell these candidates, specifically a question to all of them should be, how are you going to protect your Black citizens in this Black city? And stop walking around talking about it's not race. We need people to stand up in it right now, not act like talking about race is political and controversial. It is survival.
I think you're right about that, Trees.
Thank you.
Because, we're still a Black city.
We still a Black city.
For right now, we're holding on.
The population
and
has
your candidates should be willing to stand up in it, whether they're Black or not, and say, listen, this is how I'm going to protect the Black people in this city. This is how I'm going to fight for the Black people in this state against this governor, against this president, against these policies, against this legislation. All of them. And I'm not happy with what the Black candidates are doing, because I feel like they're trying to shield away from it, and they're allowing themselves to be gaslit into not standing up in. Yes, it is about race. Yes, I am Black in a Black city, and these are the things that I need to be discussing in its race. I don't need to be walking around race because I don't want to offend or make certain people uncomfortable. That isn't good for us right now, specifically what's going on. So no candidate can get me to stand up for them if you are not willing to discuss how race is very important in this city, in this state, in this country, especially now when we have people that don't care about the Constitution and laws, because we can't keep trying to play the law and the Constitution again. We need to get real and talk about what's really happening to us and what really can happen to us, because at the end of the day, you can't make people starve. So if you take food stamps away and all of this other stuff, and it ain't just about Black people with that, you can't force people to starve. They're going to go do what they got to do to eat, right? So we piggybacking around the real issues of race and how these policies specifically can affect us as a race. We're doing ourselves a disservice by allowing any of the candidates, I don't care who it is, any of the candidates, to walk around race.
Yep. You're right on it, Andres. We got to take a break, but thank you for sharing that. Yeah, that's why I've been trying to hear, connect the dots a little bit for some people, perhaps this morning. When I talk with white folks around these issues, and they say, well, stop playing the race card. And I'm like, look, it ain't never been a card. It's been the whole deck the whole time. And so we need to deal with all of that. Thank you, though, for calling. We got to go to break.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And you're so right. We Black, going to be Black, always been Black. And we need to hear people talking about us.
Yes, right.
Us. All right, well, we're going to go to break momentarily. Thank you so much for engaging with us. Don't forget, at any point between now and the end of the show, we're going to hear a big surprise announcement from Dr. Wyatt. Been waiting for this. She said yesterday it's coming today, and it's still going to happen. But right after the break, we're going to hear from our favorite weatherman,
That's right,
Damon Singleton. He's going to talk about storms and, in particular, what's going on with Aaron.
As he says it, Damon Singleton.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, we'll be back right after the break, and we will be talking with Damon Singleton. So right now, this is WBOK, 12:30 a.m., the station that everybody's listening to.
All day long.
All day long.
Hey, New Orleans, look for important changes to your natural gas service. This summer, Delta Utilities takes over for Energy Gas with a Louisiana-born, Louisiana-based approach to safe, clean, reliable natural gas. No interruptions or rate changes due to the transition, just dependable service and modernized technology to keep you running smoothly. Get to know us at deltautilities.com and stay tuned for more later this summer. Delta Utilities, focused on natural gas, committed to New Orleans.
Welcome to Liberty Bank and Trust, where your financial journey transforms communities. Since 1972, our customized banking solutions power your dreams and fuel your community growth. Every dollar you invest with us circles back to empower more people, ensuring opportunities for generations. Join us at Liberty Bank. Together, we empower possibility. Visit libertybank.net to start banking with purpose. Liberty Bank, there's freedom here.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans. And Dr. White's not here today in the flesh, but she is in the flesh taking care of business.
That's right.
She got a few things to do today. I am Will Sutton. I am columnist with the Time Review, NOLA.com. And my co-host today is Pastor Sanders.
Good morning.
Sanders.
Good
He's
morning.
been here quite a number of times.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
He's back today and assisting us with the show and helping to inform and entertain and educate you all and me. It's always pleasurable to talk with Dr. Sanders. So right now we're going to hear from our favorite weatherman, our favorite meteorologist, talking about the storm, Aaron, and other things that are going on. We're in the midst of hurricane season, and we need to know what is happening. Brother Damon.
Will, what's up, man? How y'all doing?
Fabulous, fabulous. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Pastor. Good to hear your voice.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Same here.
So, Damon, what is going on? Here we are coming up on the 20th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. We hear about these disturbances and these tropical storms, and we always want to know if they're coming our way or going elsewhere or petering out. What's the latest on Aaron and anything else that might be happening out there?
Well, Will, Aaron's out in the Atlantic right now, and it's a tropical storm. It's probably going to become, they're probably going to make it a hurricane with the next update that comes from the National Hurricane Center. And it's still expected to become a major hurricane probably towards probably by Sunday. It'll probably become a major hurricane. It's not an issue for us because it looks like it's going to pass just north of Hispaniola and Puerto Rico and east of the Bahamas, and it's more of an issue for their Bermuda than for us here in southeast Louisiana. Although if you're headed towards the Carolina coastline, you may notice wind and wave action increasing. But even with the path that it's expected to take, it's not going to get that close to the east coast of the United States. And it looks like it's going to be mainly a fish storm. So Aaron's not an issue for us right now, but it probably will be our first major hurricane of the season. Besides that, in the western Gulf of Mexico, there's what's called an INVEST area, an investigative area or area for investigation, and the number for that is 98. And it's it possibly could become a storm before it makes landfall, but it's looking less and less likely that that's going to happen as it gets closer to the coastline right now. And it looks like it's going to head straight up towards like Brownsville, Texas. So also not a big issue for us here in southeast Louisiana. But as we get further and further into August and into September, September is the height of the season. The middle of September is when most of the storms happen, when they develop, when they're the biggest threat to us and to the rest of the United States. And so as we get closer and closer to that September 11th date, we're probably going to see more of these storms develop and move across the Atlantic, may develop in the Caribbean or even in the Gulf of Mexico. And the National Hurricane Center, or National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration, and Colorado State University, one of the people that I follow pretty closely, still are both calling for an above average season, and only slightly above average season, but still above average season, which for most people, doesn't mean a whole lot, because whether it's above average or below average, all it takes is one storm landing right here in southeast Louisiana to kind of ruin things for all of us.
So based on what you've seen so far, I'm listening to your report, and it seems like we are likely to have a 20th anniversary of Katrina on August 29th without a storm of any significance. Is that correct?
Well, no.
Okay.
It's not impossible for us to see a storm or a hurricane as we get closer to the anniversary of Katrina. In fact, we're probably going to see more activity across the tropical Atlantic and the Caribbean as we get closer and closer to that anniversary. Whether or not we see one here in southeast Louisiana is a possibility, but right now there's nothing threatening us and nothing really threatening or a great threat to the United States except for Invest 98, and that's headed into Texas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Damon. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, Dr. Sanders here. Yeah, so I've heard when the president came in and he was making a lot of cuts or firing people, and I heard something about the hurricane forecasting community. Can we trust? Are they up to speed and have enough staffing to help people like you in terms of whatever forecasting that they do? I mean, are we in good hands in terms of the data and the information that we are able to get and that you're able to get to help us make these, to know what's happening?
I think we're in better shape now than we were a few months ago, because there were a lot of cuts to National Weather Service, the office altogether, and so a lot of people were being released, and some of those folks have been rehired. I think the folks that work in those places, whether it's the National Hurricane Center or any National Weather Service office, they're all pretty focused on, especially on hurricane season and the threat that brings to us here in southeast Louisiana and to the United States, period. Mm-hmm. So while our numbers may not be as great as they once were, I think people are focused on doing the best job they can, especially during hurricane season.
Yes, and I know the other piece. I've read recently. This is not related directly to the weather, but that our levees or may not be as inspected as they should. Do you have any information related to that? How are we with our levee system, and should we get something on the major side?
Yeah, I was reading or hearing a report about that yesterday and again this morning. And frankly, I don't know too much about it. The levee, from what I've heard, their levee inspection, the frequency of it is being reduced. So they're going to be inspecting it less often than they do now. And as long as the levees are, solid,
mm-hmm. Yeah,
that shouldn't affect us too much. But if there is any area of the levee that's
mm-hmm.
suspicious, that's weak, those inspections I would expect that they would identify those areas and work to correct them. I mean, the short answer is I don't know.
Okay.
It concerns me that frequency is being reduced. It concerns me greatly. In fact, as a New Orleanian.
Yes.
And especially, I guess, as a meteorologist, because I'm with global warming and the rapid intensification and the threat that the greater threat that hurricanes can pose to us now and in the future. Our protection is going to be very important to us in making sure that they're solid and dependable and reliable. Is really important to all of us.
Yeah, but you mentioned global warming. It sure was hot this summer. Do you have any data? How does this summer rank in terms of the heat and level of warming that we've had over the years? Is this stand out in any way, or is this just a regular New Orleans summer?
Well, I haven't seen too many records broken in this particular summer. It is super hot. That there have been times when the temperatures have gotten close to the record, but I haven't seen too many times when the record has been tied or broken. Over the last couple of years, the heat was really intense, and the records were falling right and left. But I haven't seen the stretch of heat that results in that kind of attention yet this summer. Now it's still plenty hot. Those temperatures have been above average pretty. I don't want to say routinely, but it almost doesn't get our attention as much as it used to, because we kind of over the last 5 years gotten accustomed to hearing that the temperatures are tying or breaking records.
Yeah.
But when you step outside, you sure get get hit with it pretty quickly. So yes, the temperatures are high. No, I don't think from what I've seen that they are higher than what we've seen over the last couple of years. But summer's not over yet. So that could of course change completely.
So it sounds that we want to be aware as we approach the anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. We don't anticipate any major storm, but anything is possible as we approach that anniversary. But we really should be looking ahead to mid-September, especially since school has already started and we've gotten into those rhythms. But we might not want to overlook our hurricane preparation as we settle the kids in school and as we have all these opportunities to learn about and remember and recall what happened with Hurricane Katrina, because mid-September could be here in what seemed like a hot minute.
Yep.
And then if you haven't prepared, we'd be in similar situations where you're not sure what to do. So
absolutely. This is the time of the hurricane season that we especially should be prepared, August and especially in September, since that's the height of the season. And, like I said, anything could happen in the next, month and a half. And in fact, we've seen hurricanes develop in October and November as well. But August into September or is a time that we should really pay attention to what's going on. And, we should prepare for hurricane season before hurricane season starts and stay that way throughout this season as well.
Right. I know that I was drinking some of the water I had stashed, and it's like, okay, guess I'm going to have to restock. All right. Well, we're going to have to go to break, and we really appreciate you making time for us, for our listening audience, to update us on what's going on with storms. I've got a lot of stuff going on. We're hearing about Katrina every day as we get closer and closer. None of us want to see another Katrina or Rita or Camille or Betsy or
Ida or
any of those, but they have been a part of our reality for decades and decades. So we appreciate the information so that we can stay alert and be aware and prepare. So thank you so much for joining us, and wish you the best of days, my brother.
Thank you very much, Will. I appreciate that. Pastor, have a great day.
Yes, same to you. Same to you.
All right.
All right, time for break.
Time for a break. So we'll be back after the break. And when we come back, we'll be hearing from Kevin Ferguson from New Orleans and Company, talking about so many wonderful things that are going on in the city of New Orleans and the role that New Orleans and Company is playing with these various things. So that's going to include food and culture and trains and more. So looking forward to that. You're listening to WBOK 1230 AM, the station that everybody's listening to.
All day long.
That's right, all day long, folks.
WBOK New Orleans, home of the Good Morning Show, 7 to 9 a.m. weekdays.
This news report is brought to you by New Schools for New Orleans.
This year marks 20 years since Hurricane Katrina changed our city and our schools forever. New Schools for New Orleans is sharing After the Storm, a special series reflecting on the past 2 decades of change and progress in public education. Through videos, personal stories, and a powerful interactive timeline and data dashboard, we explore how our schools recovered, transformed, grew, and what that progress means for our students today. Discover the videos, data, resources, and stories behind the 20 years of change at newschoolsforneworleans.org/Katrina20.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Black New York City Mayor Eric Adams is pushing the Compassionate Interventions Act, letting clinical professionals bring people with substance use disorders who pose a danger to a hospital. A judge could then mandate treatment if they refuse help.
We'll help those caught in the grip of addiction recover, improve quality of life across our city, and build a culture of compassion instead of a place where anything goes.
Adams says current laws block involuntary admission in many such cases. Rapper Snoop Dogg's hemp-infused drink brand, Iconic Tonics, is expanding to New Jersey, Tennessee, and Georgia. The rapper says each state has shown him love and influenced culture, inspiring the move. And the state of New York is suing Zelle with Attorney General Letitia James, who is black, accusing the platform and its bank owners of ignoring security flaws that let scammers steal over $1 billion. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK. New Orleans native, Laura Nine and Gentilly. And today with me, I have the Reverend Dr. Torrance.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Since we're giving our whole pedigree, I'm a Bronx native. Pastor of the Sixth Baptist Church. And, you know, I was recently promoted to a professor of social work at SUNO. That's right, the $1 Million School.
Wait a minute now.
So, yeah, they gave me the highest rank, professorship. That means I just talk a lot. That means I talk a lot. That's all.
Kevin, just for a moment. So let me be clear. I grew up in academia with my parents and uncles and aunts and so many people in education. And when you go on college campuses, a lot of people say professor to even the folks who are teaching one course a year.
Yeah, that's right.
Or every other year, or one course a semester, and they say professor.
But inside of the institution,
that's right,
there are only certain people who are professors.
Yes.
And so you go through a process that includes, depending on the university, that you might be an adjunct, you might be
an adjunct, then there's assistant professor, and then associate
professor, and then only certain people make it to professor. Some people have amazing careers, but they never become professor. So for you to reach the rank of professor at SUNO.
Yes. Woo, thank you. Thank you. I don't want to go in no time, but since you were giving pedigrees out here.
Well, all right, we told you he was coming. Now, our friend, Kevin Ferguson, back again from New Orleans and Company, and there's just so much good stuff going on, as there so often is. And you know, this is one of those things where people talk about, oh, it's summer in New Orleans, nothing going on. I beg to differ. So just for starters, we still have culinary going on.
Culinary still going on. Thank you guys for having me. It's always great to be here. Culinary still going on. I actually got my chance to get out earlier this week for my first culinary meal, and was really excited, not just for the discount and savings, but to see what that restaurant looked like. It was a Monday. Our kids were actually out of town because we had some work stuff, so we shipped them off to the grandparents since they were still out of school. And my wife and I were like, let's go grab a drink and bite to eat. And we were kind of on the early bird special, which is unusual for us. Yeah. It was about 6 o'clock, but we got to the restaurant, and it was about half full. And, you know, we're ordering. And then what I was excited to see, this is on a Monday. As we were in there from that hour and a half from 6 to 7:30, more people started coming in. You know, we didn't opt for the culinary menu. We heard all about it. And I kind of asked. It's like, we've already had a ton of people coming through getting it. So, you know, that's the whole purpose of that program, is to really get people out to our restaurants during August, locals and visitors alike. So those menus are available on the Culinary New Orleans on neworleans.com. Again, this is 2-course prefix lunch, which is $28 or less per person, and then a 3-course dinner or brunch that is $58 or less per person. So it's a great way. Fixed price menu on that. And again, that's the kind of high level price, right? So it could be less than that. Some restaurants run specials below those levels. But again, it's a great way to get out, support, encourage people to get with their friends, and it makes a big difference. It's great seeing restaurants busy during the summertime, and culinary definitely helps drive.
You got a whole bunch of restaurants and bars participating.
We got over 130, and it was great. You know, the bar program, this was the first year we did that. Cocktail culinary, and it was really kind of from some of our members that reached out and said, hey, you know, is there anything you could do for the bars, you know, because this is also a challenging time of year. And so we work with them to develop that. It's a great little program, and we got an email from one of them, the folks Cure, which is over on Ferret, and they said it's been fantastic. So it's great. That's part of the work that we got to do as an organization, support our members, support the industry. And that's what culinary came from 21 years ago, was the need to get people out in restaurants in the summer.
So just to be clear, it's a fixed price menu, 2-course for lunch and 3-course for dinner.
Yes.
Fixed price. But it doesn't mean you go to all 130 and it's the same burger and fries.
Oh, no, it's amazing. And that's what's fun. You know, we get this stuff out. I think we start collecting this information probably in June. You know, so it's a pretty early when we're getting out. Gives the restaurants time to figure out the menus. You know, there's a financial side to this, right? You got to make sure that you're pricing this right, and you've got the right things on the menus to where you can operate and activate at these price points and make sure that you're still profitable. So they have plenty of time to do that, develop the menus, what they want to do, and it works out incredibly. And what will happen a lot of years, restaurants will say, hey, we want to keep this going into September. Right. And while our advertising will slim down at that point, you know, because this runs through August, we encourage them, hey, if you want to keep your culinary menu going in September, go ahead.
Yeah.
And so there'll still be some deals out there, but get out there in August.
Yeah, I know. Last year, my wife and got 2 of her, you know, good friends, and I was the chauffeur.
There you go.
And they went down, I forget which restaurant in the quarter, and I did the culinary, and I mean, they had a wonderful time. You know, generally we don't want to go down to the bustling quarter, but when they knew the price,
that's what it is.
Then they said get together, and they had a wonderful time, and I went and picked them up. So you know, I'm sure they'll be. I'll be chauffeuring again. I might join them this time. I might join them this time.
Listen, you can join or just enjoy that nice quiet night by yourself, catch up on your shows or book.
That's right. But that's a great idea, and I can't believe it's 21. I mean, because you know, confession, I only heard about it maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's been around that long is amazing.
I was stunned.
Oh, it's been growing.
Oh yeah, but I was stunned, and because I was very familiar with Culinary, I came into New Orleans Company 3.5 years ago.
Okay.
And didn't know it was a program in New Orleans Company, and it's a credit. Kim Priez, who's our senior vice president of tourism, developed this over 20 years ago. And what's wild is you look around the landscape of other cities, and there's dozens that are doing similar summer dining programs that were, I'll go ahead and say blatantly copied from Culinary, but what do they say? It's a sincere form of flattery, right?
That's right. Sincere form of flattery.
Yep.
See a good idea, snap it.
Yes, but it's done wonders, and we're proud of that program. And then at the same time, also, we've got Museum Month going on, and we talked about it before.
Yeah.
But this is at over 27 participating museums. If you're a member of any of those institutions, you get free admission for 2 to any other institution that's participating. And this year we added a passport program where we distributed these to the member institutions. Folks can take those with them on their journey around Museum Month. And if they get, I think it's 6 or more, they're able to enter that for prizes. And I was excited. I think it was when I was on my vacation the other week, there were emails flowing in that were saying, hey, we're already out of the passports. Can we print some more?
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so we printed off about another 500 or 600 to distribute. So that's going really well, too, and it's just a great way to explore. I actually had a chance to go to Jam Nola at their new location on Frenchman about a week or 2 ago, and I was so excited to see it. It's beautiful. It's twice as much space. But, again, what made me really happy, they told me they've had a good summer. They said that they had their busiest day in the history of Jam Nola in July. Wow. And I'm like, it's a testament, again, to...
Now, what is Jam Nola for those?
Jam Nola is an incredible art activation. It's not a museum, but it is a incredible experience. It's kind of full sensory depth. You come in, it's visual, there's music, there's arts, and it's all about our history and culture. And they've got some wonderful relationships and partnerships they've built. They've got a tremendous, I don't want to give away too much, but there's a tremendous exhibit and display in there and interactive that's related to the Black Masking Indian culture. They worked very hard with those culture creators. They actually rotate through some pieces. And I give them a lot of credit. Johnny List and that team have really built a lot of trust with different institutions in the community, not just Black Masking Indians, but some of our bars and restaurants. There's these really cool little speakeasy rooms you go into. And so they're all 4 of them for different clubs or bars, right? So there's one for the Dewdrop, and there's music you can listen to in there that was actually played at the Dewdrop. There's one, I think Kermit's got one for Mother-in-Law Lounge. It's really cool to see. So it's just such a fun thing. I think the best way I can put it, I was there with another person on my team, and she was like, I was smiling the entire time I was in here. Yeah. And I was like, that's the perfect way to describe it. You're just kind of amazed, and it's like walking through Wonderland, Alice in Wonderland, if it was all about New Orleans culture.
Yeah, I would describe it as if you go to this place and sit down, something's wrong with it. Because it's so engaging. Yeah. Visually, oratory, hands. And there's, I don't see how you can move from room to room, space to place, and not be engaged with this. So to say museum,
yes,
so many people would think of museum as, okay, while you go over there, I'm going to sit on the bench, or I'm going to look at this and I'm going to read the sign. That is not this place at all. And so definitely put that on your list.
Yeah, and it's a tour. It's a toured experience. So there's a storytellers, what they call them, that kind of takes you through it and helps, talk through it and really explain some of the culture and the depth of the pieces. But I'll say to you, for the social media generation, it probably has 80 to 100 Instagrammable pictures you've taken there. It's cool to see people in there because you get little breaks on the tour, and then you see a girls group and they're taking their pictures and they're finding their spots. So very well curated.
Now, I know you have a bunch of things you can talk about, but just for me, I want to hear about this Carnival Cruise Line and what's going on there, because I'm thinking about taking a trip.
You should.
Yeah.
Cruises are such a big part of visitation and tourism here. This is the 4th largest domestic cruise port in the country, and Carnival's been here longest continuous than anybody else, over 30 years. I was shocked. A year ago, they reached out. They were doing their 30th year celebration and asked us to participate. And I was like, you guys have been cruising out of New Orleans that long. And so they're excited. They've got 2 ships that are, permanently docked here now that had major renovations. And so they've really been engaged at a high level. I do some of our community engagement, and they've reached out to connect with different organizations in the city. So they're a big believer in really being engaged and giving back in those communities. And so it's exciting. They've really kind of put their footprint down here. And then the Dream, which I think this was the one that was undergoing renovations, they took a little bit longer, but that's going to be back in May of 2027. And so then we'll have 2 that are permanently docked here that whole time. And so it's exciting for us. I think one of the things people don't realize is how much of a draw that is for visitation for us from the Gulf South. And the great thing about it, I've only cruised once, but you don't show up the day of your cruise and hop on a boat and then get off the cruise and leave, right? And so that is a boon for our hotels, our restaurants, our attractions, our shops, that we have that much inflow of that. And so we're continuing to see the gains from that. Carnival, again, is an incredible partner, and we look forward to what that looks like in the years to come. I know they had the big news out a couple weeks ago about the airport and the need for expansion not too long. And, we'd love to see the same thing at the port. What can we do to continue to grow those passenger cruise lines and bring them more of the business to New Orleans?
Almost always people going on the cruises come early, at a minimum hours early, but usually overnight.
Yeah.
So they can enjoy New Orleans before they go on their cruise to wherever they're going.
Yeah.
And oftentimes they also do it on the back end. I met a family, so this was a family of like 4 or 5, not that long ago, and they're going on a cruise. They came in like 3 days early. So they love New Orleans. They wanted to go cruising.
Yep.
So they chose to go cruising out of New Orleans so they could go to New Orleans and do the cruise that they wanted to take as a family.
Yes, that's great.
And that is good for economic development, business, because they had to eat, they needed a place to stay, and they had a good time, and they wanted to come back.
Look, I'm sure it happens, but you don't want to be like the folks at the airport that are like running to the gate. you want to show up the day of your cruise, running up the gangplank, trying to get on the boat. No, it's exciting. We're again, August is always a challenge. Summer's a challenge, but these programs give a lot of lift. All that business gives a lot of lift. There is one more thing I want to mention, and this is really a big message for our hospitality workers. I give a lot of credit to the city. Their Department of Office and Nighttime Economy has really been working hard, and we've been partners on a number of things to help make life easier for hospitality workers. They recently rolled out their hospitality parking program, and I really encourage folks, if you work in the hospitality industry downtown, I used to do it. I know how challenging parking is and how expensive it can be. They worked really hard to get a partnership with a number of the parking providers downtown. So now there are daily discounts as well as monthly discounts for parking downtown.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal.
It's a huge deal. I give a lot of credit. Rob Bell in the department really kind of led that effort. But Mike Ince, all those guys are great. And folks can go to NOLA.com and access the Office and Nighttime Economy. And it's called the City's Discount Hospitality Worker Program. They can find that on there, and we really want to encourage people to sign up because it makes a huge difference if you can save a few dollars here and there in that parking when you're working.
Yeah,
that's a big deal for folks who work down there, and you have to go every day, and in some cases 6 days a week. And then you kind of figure out where you can park, but even where you can park, it costs money.
Yeah.
Yes.
And in some cases, they're like leaving the job to run over to make sure that they update the parking. So a discount with the money that they make is a big deal.
And
So how about the train?
Yes.
Oh,
How about the train?
We got boats and trains and all kinds of stuff going on here.
Let's talk about the train, the Mardi Gras service.
It's exciting. I know we might have talked about before, but you go to other parts of the country and train allows so much connectivity to other cities and communities. And it's something that we've been lacking, and we're certainly excited about this trip. I think they're doing a ceremony tomorrow to kind of announce it and launch. I know some of our team will be there, some folks from the city. But this is, again, great connectivity, right? Like you think about some of the barriers and lines that we have on apps, and those are all artificial. When people come to a community or a region, they want to be able to explore, they want to be able to see other things, right? And this is a great win for everybody. For Mobile, it'll allow greater access for visitors and people to go there. For us, it'll allow greater access for people to come here. And it just makes it easier. Life is complicated, and life is getting more complicated every day. The easier you make things for people, the more likely they are to take advantage of it. And I don't know the last time you guys went on a train, but it is such a relaxing way to travel. It is, like I love to fly when I have to. It's quick. But there is so much less stress with the train.
Yeah.
The experience at the terminal, getting on board. And so we're excited to have this route now going, twice a day. People will be able to take this. It really opens it up. And for the folks that are visiting New Orleans, it'll open up some Gulf Coast for them too.
Yeah.
I think, there's this thought that we want to get everybody here and keep them here. And we don't want people to go to any other cities. And that's not how the world works. We know that people want to explore and see other things even within this region. And especially on the international side, this will pay huge dividends. Those folks tend to stay longer. And they want to see more of the country when they're here.
Well, it just adds to it. I mean, hey, if I want to come to New Orleans and spend, my first 2 days here, then I want to hop to the beach, and so I can go to, Gulfport or whatever, and then come back to New Orleans. I mean, it just makes it, rather than trying to have to get a car and all that kind of stuff, it's all, I think it will enhance us, being from the Northeast.
Yeah.
Because I grew up on trains and all that stuff and everything. So, we need that. I'm waiting for, I know it's different, but the New Orleans to Baton Rouge.
Brother, we all are. We were talking about this the other day, and Walt, our president's like, I've been talking about this and working on this, I think, for 20 years.
Yeah.
Literally his time in the legislative and the Capitol, and it's it needs to happen as well, right? Like, connected community is a stronger community, and the idea that these commutes aren't happening. Actually, I had to go halfway to Baton Rouge the other day, and, there was an accident on the spillway, car caught on fire, and that traffic, seeing how backed up it was.
Mm-hmm.
How many people would opt for this if they could, right? If you had that connectivity to get there, and I know people talk a lot about
get stuff done.
Yes,
that's right. Yeah,
including a nap.
Yeah. Well, and look, especially now, people want to be on their phone all day anyway.
Absolutely,
that's right.
Much rather
that's
be
right.
on the train than
And
in your car doing that.
How much?
Yeah,
and that was another question. Yeah, I had about the. Will there be? Is there any need for an express? So to speak, or a faster. I know this is a 3 hours, so it's kind of geared more towards, it's not really a commuter thing yet. But what about the commuter?
I think those things can develop. There's a lot of data that goes into that. So I think as they look at traffic and how that picks up, those are the things that come from. I know when we were talking about the Baton Rouge one, kind of similarly, part of what you want to do is provide access, right, for all those different stops along the way.
Yeah.
And so initially you kind of look at the full slate of the run. And then as you get a little bit more sense of demand and how many folks are going, I think that's when you can think about, okay, maybe, one of these we make an express line and we get folks a little bit quicker to the destination. But for now, you can take your time and enjoy that ride.
And I realize, it's from one location to the other location, but there are stops in between with Pascagoula and Biloxi, Gulfport, St. Louis. All cool spots to visit if you haven't done it in a while. So that's pretty cool.
And the Gulf Coast is blown up, and I'm a big believer. The more stuff you have around, the more that increases the desire of people to come, right? Because they look at the experience differently. We don't have a beach here, right? But you come to New Orleans, enjoy your stay, and then now you can hop on train and you're at the beach in a couple hours.
That's right.
All right. Well, we've run over because we snatched some of your time.
That's okay.
Professor Torrin Sanders. But real quickly, mention Katrina.
Oh, yeah. So obviously it's a tremendous milestone coming up. I had the pleasure. We worked with the city to host the K20 press conference at our building, and hearing the reflection from so many people. A lot of our elected officials were there, some other folks from the community. We know what this is for our community. This is a somber occasion, but it's also an occasion where we can recognize the progress we have made in the 20 years, while also not acknowledging the loss and the continued work that there is to do. And so, the city has really done a good job of working both with the community as well as developing their own programming. And so on the city's website, there's a number of things that you can look and find out. They're really trying to encourage more people to add to that. So if there are things happening in the community, we really encourage people to upload those to the city site so people can be aware, right? Because what we want really is for everybody in the city to be able to recognize that anniversary in the way that is most appropriate for them, whether that's with the community, whether that's doing an act of service, whether that's attending one of the seminars or panels that's going to be happening. And, we've really tried to work with the national media to provide them information, but also kind of get the message out that this is a deeply personal time for our city and the folks here, in that while we certainly appreciate the recognition and appreciate telling the story of why things like flood protection and why things like the National Weather Service and FEMA are so important. We also want them to be aware that there's a lot of sensitivity and to do it in a way that's appropriate and to make sure you're acknowledging that, this is something that means a lot to the community here. And it's a challenge for me, Will. I grew up here my whole life, kindergarten through high school. I left for college in '99, and I was still living in Florida when Katrina hit. Like, my parents evacuated. So for 2.5 years, I was going to Alabama to visit them and not New Orleans. And when I moved back here in 2008, I was keenly aware that the folks that were here, as much as I was New Orleanian, they had this experience that I wasn't a part of, right? And so even for me, sometimes it feels very much, even though I'm from here, that I'm an outsider when it comes to things around Katrina, because I recognize for so many people that was a seminal moment.
Absolutely, a defining moment.
Yeah.
Before Katrina and after.
Yeah. And so, I've had my own personal understanding of how personal that is and the depth that hits people at. And so we really are, we're happy that the city is going to get attention, and we're happy that we're going to be a part of how we craft that national narrative and make sure that people are getting the full spectrum of this, right? Because we don't want it to just be, disaster TV that people tune in, see the devastation. Here's some of the stories. Here's some of the heroic stories about the things that people in our community did and the commitment to come back. I mean, you know that there was a conversation about should New Orleans be rebuilt, right? And sitting here 20 years later and looking at where we're at, it's absurd that was a part of the conversation at one point. But again, like where we're at is a testament to the people in this community. It's a testament to the support that the government provided as well, with the hurricane protection system, with all the improvements that have gone in. And that's something that we want to be a part of this message too, that these things are important.
All right. Well, we thank you
thanks for joining
us once again. So many exciting things going on in what people perceive as the slow summer, slow August. Well, obviously we got a lot of good stuff going on. You can do something every darn day. Every day.
That's right.
And you wouldn't be able to say there's nothing going on. So thank you so much for joining us once again. We are going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll hear from Angel Thibodeau Burns.
Dr. Angel
Burns from Liberty Bank, talking about how our money matters. But before we do that, I just want to shout out Alicia, Melanie, Anita, and Cedric. We see you, and we appreciate you watching and listening. And I hope that those of you who are on the internet or AM continue to listen, because don't forget, we got a big Dr. Wyatt announcement coming, and I don't know, could come at any time. I'm pretty sure she's not going to wait till the front porch. But we'll see. So keep watching, keep listening for the big announcement. Meanwhile, we got Dr. Burns coming right after the break. This is WBOK, 12:30 a.m., the station that everybody's listening to.
All day long.
All day long.
Tune in to The Monitor's Mic, where we talk about oversight, policing, and you. Hosted by the Office of Independent Police Monitor, we're here to shine a light on policing issues that matter, from real-time policing updates to in-depth interviews. Every Friday at noon on WBOK.
Hi, this is Arnie Filko. Let's Elevate every Tuesday through Thursday from 6 to 7 o'clock p.m. as we discuss the community, the country, and the world, from politics, current events, to sports. We look forward to your input and continuing the quality programming on your community station, WBOK. Join Carrie and I every Tuesday through Thursday, 6 to 7 o'clock p.m. on Elevated Conversations, the Arnie and Carrie Show. See you soon.
I'm Michelle Woodfork, and I know what real leadership takes. It means running a jail that's safe, clean, and under control. It means tackling mental illness and addiction head-on and making reentry work. It means zero tolerance for escapes and no patience for excuses. I've spent my life in law enforcement, not chasing headlines, not playing politics, but serving people. I'm Michelle Woodfork, and I'm ready to lead as your next sheriff. Paid for by Michelle Woodfork for Sheriff.
Welcome to Liberty Bank and Trust, where your financial journey transforms communities. Since 1972, our customized banking solutions power your dreams and fuel your community growth. Every dollar you invest with us circles back to empower more people, ensuring opportunities for generations. Join us at Liberty Bank. Together, we empower possibility. Visit libertybank.net to start banking with purpose. Liberty Bank. There's freedom here.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM.
Good morning, wake up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK.
She's not here in the flesh, but she is in her flesh. And coming up before the end of the show is the big Dr. Wyatt announcement. She's been teasing y'all for about 2.5 weeks, and she really did a big tease yesterday. And so, no, she won't be here, but she will be making the big announcement before the end of the show. So y'all just are going to have to keep listening, because when she calls in, that's going to be it. That's when the announcement's going to happen. And I got Dr. Professor Reverend.
Oh, please. Say more. No. But most of all, we have Dr. Angele Thibodeau Burns. Good morning.
Good morning.
With Liberty Bank. Thanks for coming, being with us. Yeah. So first, is this your first time here, or you've been here before?
This is my first time.
Oh, well, we gonna ring the bell. Let me ring the bell.
Welcome.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself first, and then what you do at Liberty and all that good stuff.
Well, I'm a lifelong educator. I'm originally from New Orleans. I've been here most of my life. I was gone for 17 years, and I could not wait to get back. So I'm happy to be back. Came back home in 2021. But I've done everything. I've been an elementary school teacher, a principal, a professor. I've done lots of anti-poverty work, and really just trying to help support my community wherever I can. Wonderful. But I'm just happy to be back home now.
So what do you profess in?
What? Okay. Well, my PhD is in educational leadership and research with a focus on higher education, and my doctoral work focused on mentorship. And I just really believe in the power of mentorship of all ages. My research was focused on mentorship for women in higher education, but I've learned mentorship is just important at any age.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And where were you for the 17 years? One place or 3 or 4?
2. 10 years in St. Louis and 7 years in a little tiny town called Danville, Illinois.
Wow.
And after that experience, I already knew I wanted to come back home at some point. But after that experience, it made me really appreciate being from New Orleans, and I could not wait to get back. Thank you.
That's right.
Welcome home, man. Yeah. Somebody who did not have Grambling, Louisiana, and Gary, Indiana on my dad's card for my career. I understand that, but I enjoyed the people and the time there in each of those places, found the best of what was there, but really happy to be home.
Exactly.
So talk to her about Liberty Bank and Our Money Matters. We definitely need to take care of our financial business. So what you got going on?
Liberty Bank, as most of us know, has been in the community for over 50 years. And Liberty Bank, I remember growing up, and my parents bought 2 homes over the course of my childhood, and Liberty Bank was there for us. And we probably would not have been able to get into those homes without being able to get those mortgages through Liberty Bank. So Liberty Bank has just been there for us, for us, by us for a long time. But we have this exciting new online portal called Our Money Matters. And so really, when we think about financial fitness, different things may come to mind, but no matter where we are in our financial journey, by ourselves or for our family or for our children, there's always we can do more for ourselves, more for our families. And that's what Our Money Matters is all about. So basically, you go on that portal, you sign up, you create a username and password, and you pick and choose things that are interesting to you. Whether you want to start your credit, fix your credit, extend your credit, whether you want to work on getting into a home, whether you're getting ready for retirement, there's something for everybody in the portal. So it's an online portal.
So this is a place where you can go and kind of see where you are and maybe input that I want to get a car. What do I need to do to get a car? Or I want to get a house.
That's
not
right.
ready now, but
That's
maybe
right.
in 2 years. And so you can kind of play around with it. Is that the idea?
Yeah, and it really, anyone who knows a child, if you know how to get on the phone, play a game, you can get into Our Money Matters. You can have an AARP card, be a senior citizen, as long as you know how to get onto the internet.
Right.
It's there for everyone.
No, this is so critical. I think, during the civil rights movement or, near the kind of the waning parts of it, so to speak, it was someone, I don't know if it was Andrew Young, but someone said, we got to integrate the money now.
Yeah.
And part of that is knowledge and, passing down that knowledge. And unfortunately, people who grew up in poverty, we've had parents that didn't know a lot about money management, and how finances really work. This is so important, to make sure that not only the young, but even those who are not so young, because some things they weren't taught in school.
That's true.
And if you didn't know somebody who knew something, so to speak, then you didn't get it all. And so even the basics of budgeting, is so fundamental that many people just don't abide by.
Yeah, I even tried to get my son to get onto Our Money Matters, and he didn't think it was for him, but he gets a little allowance. And
how old is he?
He's 18 now. He's going off to LSU tomorrow.
All right. Send them.
Yes, thank goodness. I love him, but it's time for the butterfly to fly. But anyway, and he didn't think it was necessarily for him. Why do I need that? I don't have a job, whatever. I said, but you have an allowance. You have a little debit card that the allowance goes on. Well, he's probably going to be mad at me for saying this, but the next day, after he thought Our Money Matters wasn't for him, he went to get a smoothie at Smoothie King, and he couldn't get his smoothie because there was nothing left on the debit card, right? And so the friend had to get the smoothie, and he was pretty embarrassed about that. Yeah. And I said, that's budgeting. We all have a budget, no matter what size the budget is. We all have a budget. And had he had a budget, that would not have happened to him.
That's right.
But I think sometimes our parents have worked so hard to provide for their children that sometimes parents haven't even taken the time to teach budgeting to the children. And I know I've been guilty of that. My husband and I, we just grind and work really hard, and you're trying to provide so that your children can do better than whatever you've had. But it's all in vain if you don't teach, because I know I learned through mistakes. And if we can help others avoid those mistakes,
that's right.
That's what it's all about.
That's right. And two things, my sons are in their 20s, they finished college, thank God, but they attack you in college. I mean, you can get a credit card as soon as you walk on campus.
Predatory.
You're predatory, and so to speak. And so a lot of people between student loans and credit card debt graduate from college and are way, are almost messed up financially already. So learning this information early on so you can avoid some of those pitfalls is going to be so helpful. And I don't know if I'm ever going to retire, but I want to be able to if I want to.
You want to have options.
You want to have options. That's right. And but I told my 20-year-olds, start it now. Get your IRA. We can help you with that. Get something going.
Right.
And just put a little bit in it, but it'll help.
Our Money Matters even talks about that, like choosing careers, return on investment. If you're going to take out loans for college, think about what is the average salary for that profession that you're interested in, and what is the cost of attending the university that you're selecting? Are you going to get a return on your investment? How long, you're going to come out, let's just say you're making $50,000 a year. but you come out with $200,000 of debt plus in compounding interest, which you will learn about on Our Money Matters. You know, are you going to get a return on your investment? So choosing a career that's not only going to be fulfilling to you, but it's going to help you with that lifestyle. Some people, they want, what do you call it, like a Cadillac lifestyle? On a, you know, a Yugo budget, you know?
On a Chevy budget. In old days, you might say on a Pinto.
That's right. That's what I'm talking about. So Our Money Matters, whether you're getting ready for retirement and going off to college, there's something for all of us.
Is there, I know there's a high school mandate now for this. But I'm asking, I want to hear about that. But on the website, do you all give certificates once a person completes a module or whatever you may have it?
Honey, you should ask.
Yes. Because I'm going to assign this to some people.
Yes. How could I talk about it? I said, if I haven't gotten online and, you know, a lifelong educator, you need to always want to learn yourself. So I said, let me get on this Our Money Matters. So I'm proud. I just was showing for our listening audience one of my certificates. So I was proud of myself because how could I talk about it if I can't pass the classes?
So you got one.
I got 2 or 3. I earned some certificates.
But no, I think that's important. Because I mean, I'm going to tell a few people, and I said, hey, look, I'll may bless you with a few things if I see these certificates.
Right.
You know, because now I know that you know something.
We can challenge the children.
That's right.
Challenge our young people.
Yes.
So, can you describe the experience that you had that anyone going to Our Money Matters would have? What are they going to see?
What's so interesting, when I went on myself, I said, there's so much here. I don't even know where to get started. So when you first look at it, it can be a little overwhelming. But once you just like anything else, just get started. Pick a topic, whatever topic, you know, speaks to you or reaches out to you the most. And then it's actually pretty fulfilling, you know, when you earn that certificate because you know you've learned something. And then you actually get excited and you want to tell other people about the tool. You can get others excited. But like I said, whether it's picking the right school, return on investment, working on your credit, getting a mortgage, debt consolidation, it's all there for you. It's just a matter of what's important to you right now, where you are in life. No matter where we all are, there's something for all of us there. And some people may say they're rocking and rolling with this great career, great credit, but are you ready for retirement? Have you really been saving correctly for your child's education? There's something there for all of us. And then young people, like I said, got the little allowance. Maybe you can put some away. Maybe you can do a little investment with some stocks.
Absolutely.
Stocks are there too. So it's something there for everyone. There really is.
I know one of my niece's friends at an early age decided to invest a little, then a little bit more, and then a little bit more, and then a little bit more. And those investments turned into bigger and bigger and bigger. So yes, she has a job, but she's so young, like in her early 30s, that she has way more than people twice her age because she took those moves early. So is this for Liberty customers or can anybody go to?
That's a great question. Actually, it's for everyone, anyone in the community. Liberty, you know, is really passionate about the entire community. So we love for you to become a Liberty customer. But regardless, Liberty Bank is there for everyone. So therefore, Our Money Matters is there for everyone. So just anyone who just jump on Liberty Bank's website and you can just become a member of Our Money Matters.
And you have something going on with Junior Achievement. What's that about?
Yeah, we have an exciting partnership with them. The state decided that all students in high school at this time must graduate with a financial literacy credit on their transcripts. They must all take a course in financial literacy. And so the state recommended different resources, but really it's important for the high schools to make their own decision on what that curriculum looks like. They have certain things they must cover, but they have to choose their own resources to teach the class. And so Junior Achievement sponsored by Liberty Bank, has put together a full course curriculum to fulfill that mandate. And so Liberty Bank has been a generous partner to Junior Achievement. So whatever Junior Achievement offers to the schools is always free. It's not it's not free, but it's free to the schools because of sponsors like Liberty Bank. And so we're partnering to let the schools know that we have, a great product out here to teach that financial literacy course. And so there's several schools out in the community that are using the, that curriculum.
Yeah, Junior Achievement's been doing it for a long time.
Yeah. That's great. Well, thank you, Dr. Burns, for visiting with us today and talking about Liberty Bank's Our Money Matters. Again, that is libertybank.net. Is that how they can get to Our Money Matters?
Yes.
Okay, and if somebody wants to reach you, how can they do that?
They
email or the website?
Email or the website would be great. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So we've been talking to Dr. Angel Thibodeau Burns.
Yes.
Burns, Chief Community Development Officer from Liberty Bank, talking about Our Money Matters, all things money. Get on there and check it out. Don't be intimidated, she says. Just pick up spot and start and get going. Yes. We're going to have to take a break now, but after the break, we're going to be talking about the things the way we talk about things. And then getting close to the end of the show, y'all. So only a few more minutes, and we're going to hear something from Dr. Wyatt with the big surprise announcement. So keep tuning in. You are listening to WBOK 1230 AM, the station that everybody's talking about.
And we listen to it all day long.
All day long, folks.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Tired of the impersonal, one-size-fits-all style of banking? You deserve a bank that delivers exceptional service and personalized attention to your needs. That's the Home Bank Standard. Since 1908, Home Bank has been a trusted financial partner for businesses and families because we go the extra mile to help you reach your goals. See for yourself why Home Bank is good for business, good for life. Stop by any New Orleans area location or find out more at home24bank.com. Home Bank, member FDIC.
Got unpaid parking lot camera tickets in New Orleans? Here's some good news. Through August 31st, you can take care of them without paying late fees. That's money back in your pocket. Just go to NOLA.gov/no-late-fees to see what you owe. You can pay all at once or sign up for a payment plan and break it into monthly payments at no extra cost. That's NOLA.gov/no-late-fees. NOLA.gov/no-late-fees. Don't miss out. This offer ends August 31st.
Visit DePaul's new Algiers Health Center at 2801 General de Gaulle Drive to receive primary and preventive care for both adults and children. Services also include behavioral health, imaging, and on-site pharmacy, vision, Medicaid enrollment assistance, and more. For appointments, visit DePaulCommunityHealthCenters.org or call 504-207-3060. Hey everybody, it's Kimber White Dupree.
And it's Graylin Bryan Banks from the front porch. We're coming up next.
Good morning, Wake Up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK.
morning, New Orleans. This is Will Sutton. You're listening to the WBOK 1230 AM Good Morning Show. Dr. Wyatt is taking care of some other business right now. She is alive and well, so no fears. Always prayers out for Dr. Wyatt wherever she goes. And sitting in with me today is the wonderful, the fabulous Dr. Reverend Professor Torin Sanders.
It's been a blessing to be here this morning, hearing great news and information. I tell you, I'm going to encourage a lot of young people and maybe some old folks to get on this website for Liberty Bank and learn about, some more how to work your money.
Yeah.
And I might get on a few things and get a certificate myself. It's never too late. It's never too late.
Absolutely. One of the things as I have aged in recent decades, I've been on the Social Security site more often. But one of the things I found is that if I had been on the Social Security site in my 20s, my 30s, and more often in my 40s, I would know more.
That's right.
About what is coming at this point.
That's right.
And so I strongly encourage young folks, because even if you had a little job that was $6 an hour in high school, if there were some Social Security and taxes taken out of it,
that's
it's
right.
in that report.
Well,
you can watch.
Like many young people, and like I did, I was like, wait a minute, who is this FICA?
Yeah, right.
How come FICA took my money?
That's right. Absolutely. So look, since we've been on air, there's been a big Washington, D.C. development.
Oh,
yes.
What happened?
So the Washington, D.C. Attorney General is sued in federal court to stop the Trump administration's takeover of Washington, D.C.'s police department. And the suit says that the administration, quote, is abusing its limited temporary authority under the Home Rule Act, infringing on the district's right to self-government.
Stand up.
All right.
Stand up.
Go.
Stand up.
Here we go.
That's right.
So
you got to stand up.
We got some action happening there. Keep your eyes and your ears open because that is something to watch again. Once again, it's our formerly Chocolate City.
That's right.
With still a lot of black folks in and around Washington, D.C. And it's something to be aware of because the president's already said, coming to a city near you.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, we'll want to talk about this some more next week for sure. But the federal appeals court has affirmed a decision to withdraw Louisiana State House and Senate voting district.
Yeah.
So that was a big ruling that came out yesterday, and that upholds the Louisiana judge's decision to invalidate the legislative district maps for the House and Senate races in New Orleans, saying that it's a clear violation of Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, but the current maps will stand in place at least until the Supreme Court issues its ruling in the big one.
Yeah, and they're taking it up in October.
Right.
Yeah.
That'll be in October.
But what to mind, with the congratulations to the Attorney or whatever for D.C. It brings to mind that quote from Frederick Douglass: "Power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did, and it never will." And so, when we see overreaches, whether it's federally, on the state level, city level, whatever, people have to stand up. Or Dr. King said it this way, right? No man can ride your back unless it's bent, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you got to stand up, and otherwise, people will abuse you and think you liked it if you don't stand up, So yeah, that's so important that we do that. And hey, you can also plan your trip on the Carnival or Amtrak.
Yep.
Or go to one of those restaurants and take advantage of it during the summer period. And so there's so much going on that we can do, take advantage of.
So let me tell y'all a little bit more about this ruling yesterday. It was a 54-page order that came out yesterday afternoon. Judicial panel from the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit.
You said circus.
Circuit. Sometimes it can be a circus.
Yeah.
So this was affirming the previous judge's ruling. And so in that ruling, the judge found that 18 House districts and 7 Senate districts were, quote-unquote, cracked or, quote-unquote, packed, drawn in a manner that diluted the black vote. The Louisiana Attorney General, Liz Murrill, acting on behalf of the Secretary of State, appealed that decision on 7 fronts. And among the state's arguments was that the judge misapplied what is known as Gingell's principles, a 3-pronged legal framework for analyzing the plaintiff's claims of voters. All right, so we're going to hear more about that. But meanwhile, I think this is what we've been waiting for. I think this is what we've been waiting for.
All right,
Dr. Professor Reverend Sanders. I think we got Dr. Wyatt on the line with the big surprise announcement. Dr. Wyatt, are you there?
Hey, y'all.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How y'all doing?
Fabulous.
Excellent.
We can't wait.
So,
We can't wait.
I just wanted to share with the listening audience of WVOK, because I owe it to them first, to tell them that I'm at the Leon Arts Harvard II Cultural and Heritage Center building, getting ready to attend the Southern University Board of Supervisors meeting, where I will be confirmed as the new Vice Chancellor of Southern University at New Orleans. Yeah.
What? Oh, Vice Chancellor.
Yes. So
Chancellor, Vice Chancellor, Dr. White.
Yes. So unfortunately for my tenure at WBOK, it's coming to an end because I can't be on the air and serve as the Vice Chancellor. So I wanted to let the listeners hear it from me first. That because I'll be serving alongside Dr. Joseph Bowie, who is in the capacity of Chancellor, I will no longer be able to be the host of the Good Morning Show on WBOK. But I'm not going anywhere. I'll constantly be guesting on the show, but I won't be hosting. And so I wanted them to hear it from me first. So that is the big news. I hope they're happy because I'm ecstatic.
All right.
Well, you deserve it, and I'd love to. Looking forward to having you over at SUNO, and SUNO is going to do some great things, in the future with you there, Dr. Bowie there, and the community is poised for it to grow again.
What a wonderful thing! Tell us what your portfolio will be.
So I will be in charge of student enrollment, recruitment, and student success. So my biggest job is to make certain that we can not only attract the kids to our facility, but to retain them once we get them. And so that's what my main goal is, to up the enrollment numbers. And I'm excited about the opportunity, and I am grateful to Senator Dr. Joseph Bowie for extending the offer to me. So I'm blessed. It's a blessing.
Wow, that's wonderful and so important. Now, I know since Dr. Bowie was named Chancellor, one of the things he said over and over and over again is that we will increase the enrollment at SUNO. And sounds like he's tapped the right person to make that happen. So congratulations. That is a big deal. As somebody who grew up in academia with both of my parents in education, K through 12, and then higher education, I know how tough those jobs can be, but how important they are to the vital lifeblood of a university and institution like SUNO. So it's
well, I want to also say before I go, because the meeting's getting ready to start, but I wanted to thank the folk who have continuously supported me through these last 7 years. They know who they are, all of my friends, my family, even just folk who follow my social media pages or listen to me on the radio in the morning. I am grateful for the support, grateful for the love, and I cannot tell you how immensely overwhelmed I am in this moment, but I had to share it with WBOK first before it hit all of the other airwaves. I wanted my listeners at WBOK to be the first to hear about the news. I love y'all. I appreciate you, and I want to thank the owners of WBOK for the opportunity. I want to thank my super producer, Darren Sanders, for holding me down every day. I really appreciate what WBOK has done for me this past year. So, I mean, there's no bigger anniversary gift than the job of Vice Chancellor at SUNO. So I'm excited to serve in that capacity. I'm grateful and I'm blessed. And so I just wanted to thank everybody and share that with you. But I got to go, y'all, because the meeting is about to start.
Dr. White, You know we're not going to let you go, right? We know you're going to be limited, but you know we're not going to let you go. So
yeah, and I don't want you to let me go.
Okay.
I don't want you to let me go. I just can't be there like I was.
We're going to let you do your job, but we're not letting you go.
Well, thank y'all so much. I appreciate y'all, and I'll talk to y'all right after board meeting.
Take care.
Well, there you have it.
Bye-bye.
There you have it. Congratulations to Dr. Shanta Wyatt, the soon-to-be new Vice Chancellor for Enrollment and Student Success at Southern University, New Orleans. That is tremendous news. That certainly was worth waiting for. So happy for her and Southern University and Dr. Bowie to have somebody where there's so much mutual respect. You know you can count on each other and get things done. This is going to end the WBOK 12:30
Hey, it's been a great morning. Thanks for having me.
Show. Thank you, Dr. Reverend Professor Thorin Sanders, for joining us today, and appreciate everybody in the listening audience. Upcoming is going to be the Front Porch with Kimber and Graylin. You know what to expect, and you know what happens on Friday. So right now, we're going to sign off, and we'll see you next week, Lord willing. You're listening to WBOK, 12:30 a.m., the station that everybody's talking about.
All day long?
All day long, folks. See ya.
This news report is brought to you by New Schools for New Orleans. This news report is brought to you by New Schools for New Orleans. This year marks 20 years since Hurricane Katrina changed our city and our schools forever. New Schools for New Orleans is sharing After the Storm, a special series reflecting on the past 2 decades of change and progress in public education. Through videos, personal stories, and a powerful interactive timeline and data dashboard, we explore how our schools recovered, transformed,